Hello everybody, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be rating the MFK fragrances I've tried from my least favorite to my most favorite. Now, if you don't see your favorite scent on this list, more than likely I haven't tried it. Like Aqua Universalis, I haven't tried that fragrance. Musk Floral, haven't tried that scent. So there's still definitely a good amount that I haven't tried, but these are the ones that I have. Now, my least favorite is the one I don't have a bottle of. It's Oud Satin Mood, and that might be controversial because that's a lot of people's favorite fragrance. And the thing that is somewhat enjoyable with that scent is the fact that it's a beast with performance. Now, for me, it's a bit too strong, so I don't want to wear something super nuclear where it kind of dominates everything around me, you know what I mean? So the intensity of the fragrance is really good if that's what you're going for. If you're looking for something with really strong performance, something that's going to last for days, then hell yeah, Oud Satin Mood is a great bet. Now, the actual scent to me is not that appealing. I kind of get a little bit of a blueberry vibe, and then on and off again, it would kind of smell like something my grandmother would wear. So it is a unisex fragrance, don't get me wrong. I do think it goes more on the feminine side. But that's just something I've noticed about me and my taste is whenever I smell a scent that reminds me of my Ina, I automatically do not want to wear it. And no, it wasn't a skin chemistry thing. Even when I sprayed it in the air, my whole room smelled like Oud Satin Mood for about 2 days. And it still, like, even in the air, it had a bit of that grandma vibe, and it kind of landed on my sheets too. So I was just kind of smelling that nonstop for 2 days. And it was nice for a little bit. It would kind of go back and forth. It would ping pong. And I just don't want that type of inconsistency when I'm wearing a fragrance of, oh, I like it. Now I don't. Oh, I like it again. Now I don't. You know what I'm saying? But again, performance, stellar. Probably the best performing MFK that I have smelled. Now, the next one of my least favorite is going to go to Amres Femme. Now, this isn't a bad scent, actually. It kind of reminds me of Springtime in a Park by Maison Margiela. So if that's a fragrance you love and you're looking for a niche version of it, then I would recommend Amyris Femme. Now, the reason this is lower on the list is just because of what I heard about this fragrance before I actually smelled it. Now, this was really highly acclaimed. People were saying that it was a diamond in the rough type of fragrance, you know what I mean? So I had expectations very high. But then when I first smelled it, it kind of reminded me of a middle-aged woman at a garden party. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really get the uniqueness of this fragrance. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that instantly when I smelled it, I was like, oh, this reminds me of Springtime in a Park. So the uniqueness, not really there, but is this mass appealing? I would think so. Like if you're wearing a sundress, if you're going to a garden party and you want something more fresh, floral on the feminine side, then absolutely. Now, you know what? If I take away that expectation and I try to re-rank these fragrances, honestly, no, I'm gonna keep it where it is right now. This actually might switch back and forth with the one that's coming up next. So Amres Femme, second to last or third to last with this next fragrance I'm going to talk about, which is Petite Matin. I don't have a bottle of it. I have a sample of it that I don't know where it went. Now, Petite Matin is a very unisex type of fragrance, but I found it to be good, kind of like Amres Femme, where they smell nice. They are mass appealing, but for the price, I didn't really find it to be worth it. Like, is Petite Matin, hopefully I'm saying that right, is that something that I would put down over $200 for, like a bottle of? Not really, just because there's a lot of things that are in that scent profile that you can get for less, and I don't find it to be super amazing that it would separate itself from all the other fragrances that have similar DNA, just to be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is the best out of all of them. You know what I mean? It's definitely a great dumb reach fragrance. It's fresh, it's lemony, great for warm days, very simple type of DNA, and it is likable, but it's just not my favorite, and it kind of gets swallowed up with the other MFKs that I enjoyed better. So that and Amres Femme kind of go back and forth. I would say that the reason Amres Femme, I'm going to permanently put it at the second to last place, is just because of that middle-aged woman at a garden party thing that I just cannot not associate it with. You know, with Petite Matin, I think all ages can kind of rock it. It's much more of a unisex type of fragrance. Now, in fourth, I think I'm saying, yeah, fourth to last place. Okay, yeah, we got Bakkara Rouge 540. And there's a lot of hate for this fragrance, but that comes with the fact that it's super popular. And you have to remember, if you're thinking about getting this scent, I'm not going to say don't listen to the hate, but people are always going to hate on what's popular. You know what I'm saying? Now with Bakkara Rouge, if you want to get it because you enjoy sweet cotton candy fragrances, then get it, because it does perform really, really nicely. It has a great scent trail. It has a nice projection. But to me, the reason this is a bit lower is because I don't find it to be as worth it anymore, just because there are so many things that have tried to clone this DNA that you pretty much smell clones of it everywhere. Do they smell exactly like Bakkara Rouge? Of course not. But I mean, I can't go somewhere like in pub, like if you're going to a club, like dinners and things like that. I always smell Bakkara Rouge-esque type of fragrances. So here's what I'll say. If you're getting this fragrance because you want to be unique and you're trying to stand out, I would advise against it. If you're getting it because the irresistible sweet cotton candy thing is something you really love and you don't care about popularity, then get this fragrance. Now, I think it's also important to discuss that I always talk about the difference between the fragrance community and in the real world, and what's considered popular here might not necessarily be considered popular in the real world. But with this fragrance, this is probably the most popular niche scent. And yes, even over Creed Aventus. Like, this is a fragrance that when people see the bottle of it, when people that don't know anything about perfumes have come and checked out my collection, they're like, oh, I know that one. So this definitely it was trending for, I don't know why my camera keeps going out. I gotta check the storage or something like that. But as I was saying with Bakkara Rouge, this is really popular in the public already once they see the bottle and people know the smell. So again, uniqueness, not its strong suit, but with performance and mass appeal and sweetness, it's definitely, it's still a really, really good fragrance. All right, now on to my top three. So in third place, I'm gonna give it to Soir. Now, I do love this fragrance, and I think the reason this list is the way it is because it's summertime right now, and this is just not a fragrance that I pull for in the heat. Even during summer nights, there's just other things that have definitely piqued my interest a lot more than this one. But if you're a fan of amber vanilla fragrances, then I think you're gonna like this. It has a touch of powderiness to it as well. And some people, when they smell this, they think it kind of smells like a candle because it has some density to it. But I will say, when I wore this fragrance, it was not overwhelming. Like, when you smell it from the atomizer, you're thinking, okay, this is gonna be something that is gonna be headache inducing if I spray one too many. But I actually wore 15 sprays of this one day, not on purpose, but because I was trying to do a scent of the day video on TikTok and I kept messing up. So I had 15 sprays of this fragrance on me and it didn't irritate me. Now, mind you, when I did walk into the room, people could smell this, so it was pushing off. But for me as the wearer, it did not irritate me in the slightest. But a very cuddly, and that was twice in one video, but we're gonna keep powering through. I was talking about how Soir was a unisex fragrance, so truly anybody can wear this. But I think the way that this truly shines is if you wear it to like a black tie event, a formal type of event where you're dressed up and it's nighttime. That is when this would smell absolutely divine and amazing. Now, of course, you could still rock it if you're wearing a sweater and it's cold and you're going out somewhere at night, but I don't really find this to be a clubbing, partying scent. It's a little bit more of a sophisticated fragrance, at least in my opinion. All right, down to the top two. In the second place, I'm gonna give it to Gentle Fluidity Silver. And this fragrance, if you've ever played that game Mortal Kombat, reminds me of like Sub-Zero. Like if Sub-Zero was a fragrance, it would be this one, because it's just a very icy type of scent, and you can't really smell ice, but it embodies the whole vibe of that. When you wear this fragrance, you'll know what I'm talking about, where it's just this icy cool type of feeling. And the scent trail with this is very nice as well. To me, this definitely gives me like confident CEO type of vibes, you know, but very kind of quiet and mysterious at the same time. Very unisex fragrance as well. I haven't tried Gentle Fluidity Gold, so I can't compare the two, but this one goes more on the fresh side. Now, I do find this to be a better springtime fragrance than summertime, just because there's a little bit of sweetness with this scent when you're under the sun, and when it mixes with the heat, that can get a little bit cloying. So this is definitely not a hot summer day type of fragrance, but in the springtime, I mean, if you're going somewhere and there's AC and you're kind of dressed business, formal business, casual, things like that, you're gonna smell amazing with Gentle Fluidity Silver. So this is my second favorite MFK fragrance, and it definitely does have uniqueness to it as well. I haven't smelled a fragrance that smelled like this or even resembled this fragrance by any means. All right, now in first place is Amres Femme, and this fragrance honestly is super unisex to me. I know that it says Homme and you might think, oh, it's very masculine, but even my girlfriend, who's very feminine, finds this to be super unisex. In fact, she finds it much more feminine than she finds it masculine. But this is very easy to like, very mass appealing. It is not a daring fragrance by any means. And if you're thinking, wait, didn't you just say with Petite Matin that it was a bit, it kind of smelled like other things, so you didn't like it as much? And yes, I did say that, but for some reason with Amres Femme, it's kind of like a comfort wear to me. It reminds me of clean laundry, and there's just something about it that it's simple, and I don't understand why I like it as much as I do. So no, it's not unique, it's not bold, it's not polarizing. This is definitely not something that people in the fragrance community would hold to high regards. But whenever people that aren't into fragrances come into my room and smell this scent, they are blown away and they want it. They're like, yo, that smells really good. In fact, I remember my cousin and her boyfriend came here and he was trying to find a fragrance that he wanted with my collection, but he kept asking her, he's like, it's up to you. Like, you pick the fragrance you want to smell on me. He wanted to be very hands-off about everything. So my cousin is very, very picky. Like, she did not like the Creed, the Anicio, the designer stuff. She was just kind of, she thought they were very basic. With like the Parfums de Marly, she's like, no, it's too intense, blah, blah, blah. So a very picky type of person, even with Naxos, and Cedrat Rosé. But when she stumbled across Amres Femme, she smelled it. She's like, come here. And then she sprayed it on him and she's like, yeah, I like this. I really like this. So this is very clean. I do find it to be a professional fragrance as well. I know I mentioned CEO vibes with Gentle Fluidity Silver because it's a bit more rigid, a bit more cool and stuff like that. But with Amres Femme, this is a very welcoming, approachable type of fragrance that if you wear something like this, or when you do wear this, you know that you smell good. So my advice is, if you're looking at reviews of this online and people are saying, oh, it's a ripoff because it's pretty much a designer scent. To me, it doesn't really, it has the mass appeal that a designer fragrance has, but is this something that I would interchange as like, I'm like, oh, that's pretty much Prada L'Homme? Not really, just because this definitely does smell more high quality. So if you're somebody that wants a niche fragrance that not a lot of people have, that has the mass appealing effect, like nonstop compliments, things like that, I would suggest Amres Femme. Okay, don't get this to try to be unique and try to be bold or polarizing, because it's not gonna do that for you. But for some reason, I just love this the most out of all the other MFKs. I've worn this one the most. Every time I do, people just love it on me. So when you go out in public, you know you're getting something that is a crowd pleaser, all right? Anyways, I'll put the names of the fragrances in the description with discount site links if you want to support the channel. But of course, please buy where you're comfortable, all right? Have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye.